How's it going, everybody? My name's Jesse Nyberg. I'm a graphic designer from Los Angeles. I've been freelancing for about 2 years now, and it made me realize I don't think I'll ever go back to having a full-time job. That being said, I don't think I've done the best job embracing the free and Freelancer. The best part about being a freelancer is being able to make your own schedule and not having to answer to any specific person or thing every day. If that's the case, then how come I've been treating YouTube, the clients, and social media like my boss that holds me to this super rigid schedule that's no better than the creative directors I feared working under? I knew something had to change, and I think it finally has. I moved out of my apartment in Hollywood and went on a few trips that changed my perspective and really helped me embrace the true freedom of being a freelancer. Don't get me wrong, I'm still an advocate for having a routine, an organized schedule, and showing up for yourself to do the work. However, it's time to practice what I preach and put a little bit more flexibility and rest/relaxation into that schedule. Planned work, planned play, planned rest, leaving flexibility for change. The first big change and freedom I have encountered with this new mindset is moving into a new house. It was really hard for me to allow myself 2 full weeks off just for packing and moving stuff. You don't know how many times I wanted to work on a new video, meet with some prospective clients, or even just design a personal piece during this process. But at least it wasn't all up to just my willpower, since my PC was packed away for over a week. What's nice about moving into this new house is that it is a house. I'm going from a small, cramped apartment right in the jam-packed city of Hollywood to a more spacious living space outside of the city a bit. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to miss the amazing food places all the time and the creative juices that flow through the city of LA. But the good thing is, I'm only a 30-minute to 2-hour drive from the city. Yep, that's the variation. Fucking LA traffic. I am scared a bit of being completely suburbanified, but I think the overall mental clarity with being here will be a net positive. And like Milo from The Descendants says, I don't want no hippie pad. I want a house just like mom and dad. Moving into this new place will help me reset with my new approach to freelancing, giving myself more time to rest, taking on less and more intentional clients, and just overall enjoying a slower way of living. I never thought I'd be excited for weekly trivia each week at this little brewery in Covina. It's been nice though to enjoy the simple things. I can walk into my backyard and enjoy the sunshine for a bit. I've been riding my bike more too, and I don't have to worry about getting run over in that dense LA gridlock. And speaking of rest, this does not come without recreation. The past month, I went on 2 trips, one small and one medium, that furthered my determination to find that right balance. The first little trip I went on was a weekend trip to San Francisco. A bunch of my friends from college planned a trip to meet up in SF and see the homies Perfect Dark perform. Coincidentally enough, I'm wearing one of their shirts right now. So quick backstory. When I was up in school at Chico, the last year I lived with some of my best friends who also happened to be DJs. They put me on to all this house and techno music that I was pretty oblivious to going into college. They started this label and collective called Perfect Dark. It all started in our shitty basement on East 3rd Street, and the homies have been meeting up ever since to hit their raves. All the Chico homies now either live in LA or the Bay Area, so it was a perfect meetup spot. Me and the LA crew hopped in my girlfriend's whip and made the longer than we thought trek to SF. It was a much needed trip, and in the days coming up to leaving, I was very excited. The drive was a bit long, but it did not come without its good combos, shitty gas station snacks, and beautiful views. Once we made it to the city, it felt so good to have the original gang back together. Nothing feels better than hanging with those friends you haven't seen in ages, but after a few minutes, it's back to the same old shit and the inside jokes are flying around. As a freelance designer, I spend a lot of my time in isolation, working in my home office. I'm forever grateful for the opportunity to do this each day, but sometimes you gotta let loose. It felt amazing to see some of my friends I haven't seen in a while, especially Tanner and Pat. Both very different people, but amazing friends that I'm so glad I met. The homie Lane I haven't seen in forever was there too, so that was a nice surprise. But for real, this dude Tanner basically changed the trajectory of my college experience. And that was just by coming up to me in an intro to photography class. And we went on to be designers together and work on a bunch of stuff. And as cliche as it sounds, the rest was history. Like I said, the day-to-day, especially living in the suburbs now, can start to make you feel a little bit machine-like and domesticated. So this trip might not have been the most relaxing per se, but it felt great to spend time with amazing friends and do stupid shit. We went to raves and supported the homies, rode the BART around San Francisco, and just overall had a great time. Side note, LA needs to step their public transit game up and get something going like the BART has. These friends reminded me of the joy outside of just design, and the whole trip felt very juvenile, nostalgic, and just overall refreshing. I guess refreshing is like a strange choice of words, kinda, since we only slept about 3 hours each night. Overall though, the trip was a 10 out of 10, and I'm excited for the next link up. On the way home, I was feeling bittersweet. I was excited to get back into my work, but also looking forward to a longer trip to Mexico I had coming up a week later. This put me in a weird limbo state during that in-between pause. I know you're probably thinking, damn, back-to-back trips, when do you work? Well, this month, with the move and all that, I saved up enough money to take about 3 to 4 weeks off for all this stuff. I felt like I owed it to myself to give myself the grace to have time to move, go on these trips, and not stress about working. And luckily, I had enough clients and the luxury to save up the money before that. And honestly, from 2020 all the way through 2022, I went on like one 5-day vacation, and I worked so hard through this crazy pandemic era that I think I deserved it. And I wrote about that whole grind area I had a bit more in a recent issue of my newsletter, Glewsletter. Glewsletter is my weekly and sometimes design related newsletter. So if you want to check that out, link in the description below. All right, Mexico. I'm 50% Mexican from my dad's side, so I was very excited to go there for the first time. I know it's hard to tell, and I don't make any good arguments for myself because I'm super white, I bleach my hair, and I barely speak any Spanish. But we were just going to Cabo, so I guess that's more of an intro to Mexico type place anyway. So we had this trip planned for a while to go to my cousin's wedding. Once I got over how fucking expensive it was gonna be, I was pretty stoked considering it was an all-inclusive resort. Firstly, growing up with a single mom on food stamps and whatnot, it was pretty surreal to me to pay for myself to go on an all-inclusive trip to another country, all based off earning income from my working for myself and being a freelancer. It was pretty rewarding, but that shit's still jarring to me. It's wild to see the different paths everyone in my family's on. I never thought I would have this level of financial freedom and success this young as a freelancer, and I'm still not anywhere I want to be. And I'm going to my cousin's wedding, who's the exact same age as me and is killing it. She's a full-time nurse and worked during COVID and is getting married, which was starting to make me feel like I'm getting old. Anyway, I'm overall pretty cheap, and I think that comes with the kind of scarcity mindset growing up, but this all-inclusive shit was really the right vibe for me. Since the upfront costs were already lost, I ordered hella food and drinks everywhere we went without feeling guilty. Being a freelancer, there's so much guilt built into not working, spending your hard-earned money, and not always using your time for work. This trip helped put my mind at ease a bit on that front. It was really nice to hang around all my aunts and uncles as well. I don't see them as much as I used to, and they all love my partner Erica, so it's always a good time. The trip was filled with the cliche vacation stuff, trying not to think about work, putting the emails to the side, going to the beach, swimming in the pool, drinking countless micheladas and modelos, and I also had my first ever massage. And now I get why people pay for these things. I might have set the bar too high for myself though, because according to my family, that was the best massage they've ever had. And it was only $35, which was wild. The wedding was gorgeous as well, and I'm very happy for my cousin and was grateful to be in a position to attend. A bunch of her bridesmaids and friends were also people I recognize from back in my young days in elementary and middle school in Covina. So that was kind of a cool surprise. This trip really forced me to unwind though. which was the most beneficial. I love being able to spend time with my partner and not worry the whole time about work, emails, and all the other passive stress that comes with being a freelancer. At the end of the day, that's the core message of this video. I wanted to make this video not only to inspire my fellow creatives to take time for themselves, but also to hold myself accountable for when I get caught up in the rat race. I know I can't relax like this all the time though, and design work's got to be done. However, going forward, I'm going to be a little bit better to myself, and I encourage you all to as well. It's important to remember how far you've come, and those late night grinds and betting on myself are starting to pay off. With that being said, it's like anything. You can't have joy without sadness, success without failure, and you can't enjoy the rest without doing the work. Now that I'm back in my office, I'm gonna try to keep a more consistent, healthy routine, do more things I enjoy like riding my bike and rock climbing, and overall spend the rest of my days here with more intention and try to have a little bit more fun. If you're like me and you're fortunate enough to do freelance as your full-time career, then let's try our best to embrace the word free in freelancing.